we're talking about how to step away from that mindless eating during tough times, right? Either you're feeling, and I've been hearing from you guys, feeling tied to the kitchen. You have this awesome stock of quarantine snacks that's slowly going, right? Your kids are baking, right? And baking and baking and baking. And of course you have to be the taste tester, right? Of course. So whether it's this crisis or another crisis that will come up in our lives because it's life, many of us turn to food, and sometimes even mindlessly turn to food. Okay, so if we haven't met, my name is Monica Tupholme. Many people call me Moni. I am a woman over 40 transformational specialist. Many women come to me looking to lose that extra fluff, regain a sense of self and vitality through nutrition and exercise. But really what they find is, and what they leave with, is really valuable life skills. Okay, I'm also the founder and creator of the 3M system to rev your over 40 metabolism. And if you're in our private group, I have a post. Hey, Gina. I have a post in our group that is about caving and around boredom eating. And there's a giveaway there. You guys are welcome to it. You just have to put your hands up, okay? Hands up. And I'll send that over to your way. So let's dive in, because many of us are feeling that, right? We're home more. Pause. Getting my dog in, driving me crazy. Precedence, my yellow lab, scraping at the door. But listen, so I've been hearing it and I feel it. Hey guys, watching, we're like, because we just feel we're at home more, we're finding ourselves grazing all day, snacking all day, in times maybe that we don't normally do that, because a lot of us aren't home a lot, right? In our normal day-to-day, we're busy working, we have kids' activities and practices, we're just worrying about what we're gonna get on the table for dinner. Hey, Christy. So this whole new sense of, I call the substitute normal, finds us at home more. And when we're talking about us mindlessly eating during this time, this goes beyond I just need to check in with myself and ask myself if I'm hungry, or I need to journal this out. Two methodologies and tactics that totally work, but I'm telling you right now, when you have these three things working against you, if you will, sitting there and pausing and saying, am I hungry? Or maybe I should journal my feelings, gets the big old, if I may be so honest, in bold. And that's just the reality. And I've been doing this for over 25 years, and I've known it and I've seen it. I'm not saying those methodologies don't work, but they do take practice. And right now we need action, okay, to help spearhead those practices. So again, beyond the checking in with ourselves, okay, and the whole food permission and food freedom, which we talk a lot about with clients in the 3M system, we're gonna look specifically today on three things that really individually and as a collective really dictate that grazing all day, that feeling of constant snacking, the trying to fill something because we're bored, things that we're doing. Hey guys, people calling through. So the three things are habitual, physiological, and emotional. We need to look at these three things, okay? Again, they can work as individually, habits, they can work your physiology or emotions, or a lot of the times they sort of ebb and flow with each other, okay? So let's dive into the first one, and hopefully you guys have a notepad and you're writing this down. Habits, habitual, right? So after, a long stressful day, you just get this urge and craving for a glass of wine, or the kids are down and you can finally go, and right away you just want to sit on the couch and have some Doritos. If you saw my post about the mini eggs, right? It's sort of that I ate a half a kilo bag of mini eggs years ago when Costco had the sale, and I mindlessly went through like half a kilo of these mini eggs, just out of going into this habit of grabbing a little bit, grabbing a little bit, grabbing a little bit. And I know that many of us have been there. We've eaten something and then we're just like, oh my gosh, I don't even remember what that tastes like, right? Let me know if you've ever done that. You've just had something, you see the crumbs on your plate, you're like, I don't even remember eating it. Okay, it happens. Hey guys, so here's the big thing when it comes to our habits and habitual responses to cravings and urges and sort of that mindless eating. Behaviors create routines, routines create habits. I'm gonna say this again. Behaviors create routines, routines create habits. First and foremost, you need to get your routine in check. I know it's a substitute routine. I understand it's tough. I understand you have a million balls in the air. I get it. You need to get your routine in check. You might not have the answer this week, but maybe next week, make it a little bit better, okay? And this includes what meals you are cooking and when. Don't try to plan out the whole week, okay? If you guys have my flexible meal planning guide, you know this. We're not going for week-long meal plan. We're in our 40s and we're busy, okay? We're looking at small increments, 2-day increments. What are you eating when? Write it down, post it on your fridge, okay? If the whole baking and the kids around and cooking and everything is amazing because this is valuable family time, hopefully it's bringing you some joy. You're connecting with your kids at a different level. It's great. Freeze the batches. Put them in half. Put out 4 or 5 cookies. Freeze the rest. Get it out of sight. Okay? Out of sight is out of mind. It is a habitual breaking tactic. Okay? Breaking the automated response to something. Get it off the kitchen counter. This is also a great way of breaking what I call the minion. Okay, the minion is when you turn into that minion and all of a sudden you know where your chocolate stash is because it's always in the same location and you're going for that chocolate stash and mindlessly, maybe sometimes eating, change the location of the chocolate stash. Just change the location. It's funny because Gina, let me know if you've done this. Sometimes you go to that location, you're like, oh, shoot. But then it snaps you back into reality a little bit, gives you a little bit of a pause because you're like, oh, where's the chocolate? Where did I put the chocolate? And if you still go towards the new place of the chocolate, then you can step back and say, look at hunger cues, look at your food freedom, look at different principles that we work out a lot in the 3M system that you can question yourself on, okay? But a lot of times when you're in the moment and things are just... you're not going to think about pausing and asking yourself if you're hungry. Okay, so move the minion, move the location of the treat. So simple tactics there that you guys can do to start breaking that habit, okay, of constantly wanting to go mindlessly for those little snacks through the day. Gina, I stock the pantry basement and not easily walk down. Perfect. Okay, don't bring it in the house. If you find yourself eating, and I know we're only supposed to be going out once a week right now for groceries, I get it, okay? Bring only enough maybe for a day or whatever, okay? You cook cookies, cook 12 dozen cookies, cook a dozen, freeze half, okay? Break the routine. And guys, remember, behavior creates routine, creates habits. And right now, that's why your routine is so important because we need to create new habits from those. All right, let's jump into physiological. Okay, physiological meaning is how our brain, what our brain and our bodies are telling us. Okay, and here's the reality: we're over 40. Our physiology is different. Okay, I know a lot of us feel it. We don't want to look it. Totally fair. But the reality is we're in over 40 physiology. We are not metabolically as reactive as we were in our 20s and 30s. Okay, what does this have to do with mindless eating and craving and feeling like we're constantly eating through the day? A lot. Okay, our brain and cells need energy, love energy. And when it's giving that response of wanting to eat all day, it's basically your brain telling your body, we need energy and we need energy now. Boredom, we need stimulus now. Something's going on. we need stimulus. Stimulus meaning your brain's telling your body to consume some kind of energy. Simplest form of energy is our carbohydrates, glucose, right? Triscuits do not stand a chance when your cells and your brains are screaming through energy. No willpower, no motivation. It's not that you're not strong enough. It is a physiological response, okay? And let's dive into a couple of the big ones. There's a lot of what I just mentioned, topped on high level, talked about right now, but there's a couple of things to look at here, okay, specifically. Big one is fight or flight. Okay, you guys have probably heard this some way, shape, or form in the past. When you are in a reactive state, meaning your body's reacting to an anxiety and a worry or a stress, your body produces more cortisol hormone. Cortisol is your get shit done hormone. It has value for us, but it is also our stress hormone. Okay, when our cortisol is high, our thyroid hormone is low. They cannot function at the same time, high level at the same time. Our metabolism slows down. It's a protection response. Your body is conserving energy, okay? Because your brain is in a fight or flight. It's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, what's happening, what's happening, what's happening, what's happening? Okay, slow everything down, put the brakes on everything, close the doors, because it needs to conserve energy. Protection response. Okay, and the thing is with this, it's very easy with our thoughts to have this compound and snowball. Okay, and here's the reality, guys. We're looking at, no one knows the end date, but we're looking at months and months of this. Okay, it can compound and snowball and snowball and snowball unless we put, and you're gonna eat your way through all your quarantine snacks in one day unless we put the brakes on this. Okay. And the biggest thing when we get into this fight or flight is that we're wasting a ton of energy, okay? That energy that our body is screaming for us to get from an external source, food, right? So, and we also slide into decision fatigue, okay, which happens. This isn't a fancy term. Look at Roy Bromster from Harvard University, researched the phenomenon of decision fatigue. Our ability to make quality decisions for ourselves decreases as the day progresses, okay? With every decision that we make. So right away, again, like I said, our metabolism slows down. Your brain starts screaming for energy in the simplest, easiest forms, which is carbohydrates and glucose, okay? The same with boredom. Your brain is screaming for stimulation. It's looking for outside cues and triggers to get it moving and doing again. Okay? Isn't this crazy? Did you guys think I was going to come in on here and do food hacks? I always say, like, weight loss in general, fat loss in general in 40s, if it was as easy as meal plans and workouts, we'd be all walking around like J-Lo, but it's not. It's all up here. It's all the mental work. And Gina, who's in the 3M system, who's online right now with us, can attest with how much we do with the brain part of eating and habits and what we're doing. Okay, so two things here when it comes to how we stop the mindless eating due to a physiological response, okay, that I just talked about. The biggest one, number one, guys, is the quality of food that you are consuming, and you're consuming it in the right nutrition pairing, especially in the beginning of the day. The beginning of the day sets the tone of your energy state, your blood sugar, your hormonal level for the rest of the day. Now more than ever, it is important to make sure that we have good quality good quality foods. I don't know how hormones got in there, but they do play a huge part at the beginning of the day. Okay. And paired in the right way, that we get hormonal, we metabolize our hormones better, we balance out our blood sugar, we have satiation through the day so we don't feel hungry, etc. Super important, okay? Number two, we need to help our brain feel safe. Sounds so fluffy, right? But we need to trigger our brain to feel safe so that we can step out of fight or flight and into rest and digest. Okay? Rest and digest are so important in when we're 40s plus. Again, because our physiology, we're not as metabolically reactive as we were when we were younger. Our body needs time to heal. Our body needs time to rest, okay, and digest, all right? Especially if you're feeling bloated and heavy this time, you're staying too much in fight or flight. We're not getting you into the rest and digest. How do we do that? 3 simple things I'm going to share with you guys today. Number 1, brain into feeling safe. Number 1 is gratitude. Switching the narrative. Okay? I'm not saying that you need to journal for an hour a day. If that's your prerogative, so be it. Okay? I do this a lot with athletes that have performance anxiety. It's the whole sphere about giving gratitude is huge. Okay, so what I am asking you to do, set a reminder in your phone, put Post-it notes on the fridge, do something with your kids. There's gratitude challenges all over Pinterest that you can do. Work on having a practice of gratitude every day. Okay, switch the narrative in your head. Think about what you have to be grateful for right now compared to so many others in this situation. Switch the narrative. Number 2, find joy. Sounds Oprah, I know, go find your joy, but it's true, okay? Serotonin, joy, things that we get from laughing, having fun is the most natural and the biggest cortisol blocker and stress reducer out there. If you don't know what brings you joy right now, which is totally fair and happens, I have many women and clients that come in that are just like, I have no idea because they don't have a sense of self. And you also feel like, oh, your energy is going out. It's hard to figure or focus, put energy in. Start small. What brought you joy 20 years ago? Going for a run, reading a book, FaceTiming with that girl that made you belly laugh in university. Okay, whatever it is. Maybe it is spending more time with your kids and your family. Even with the kids that are having a hard time with this. I know there's so many parents with high schoolers right now that are missing out on graduations and proms and things that are just super shitty and sad. And if you can just sit down and try to bring the gratitude, bring some joy back in, that's huge. Okay, again, helps our brain get into rest and digest. Last one that I will say, the third, is turn off the news. Okay, I honestly said to my husband the other day, I was like, I don't even know where we are at with this. I do not know what's going on. I obviously do with breadth and knowledge, and people talking and talking to people online, but I'm not watching our nightly news or I'm in social media. I am focusing on my groups. I'm not scrolling through the feeds, and there's so many memes out there and everything. It's kind of makes you laugh, but really turn it off, filter it out, because again, your brain is wired to focus on what's wrong because it wants to fix it. Again, it's your primitive brain. It wants to fix what is happening. So going and filtering out it with good information, reading, the joy of you, okay? So we talked about Habitual, some action tasks there. We talked about Physiological, what it means, fight or flight, trying to keep our brain safe. Last one is the big one, and that's emotional. I'm gonna take a sip of water for this bad boy. Because I think we've all dealt with some kind of emotional eating where we go straight to the kitchen when we're feeling some out of sorts or stressed, or we turn to food to provide some sort of comfort. We find ourselves eating when we're not even really hungry, and it's all because of we're filling a void of something, an emotional void with the food. And that void could be related to, the health, obviously what's going on in the world, finances, self-love, boredom, hormones, right? We're finding that comfort to fill that void with the food. Okay, let me know if that makes sense with you guys, and you guys that are watching or following along. Okay. The issue is, and I think that we all know, is that it often leads to guilt and shame afterwards, especially if the emotional eating turns into binge eating, which is actually the most common eating issue in the United States. Okay, thanks, Gina. Binge eating, meaning that you just go have at it. You eat the ice cream and the chips and the popcorn and this and hamburgers and french fries, and you just binge it. Okay, more common than you think, especially for the people that try to diet all week and then they binge on the weekend, or people that give themselves cheat days. Okay, it should never be cheat days. It should just be life. But anyways, that's another topic. But we find ourselves just, again, filling that void with the food. How do we get around it? It's a very deep, I don't say rabbit hole, but it is a big topic, okay? And it really can span into greater things down the line, like severe depression, anxiety, eating disorders, etc. Okay, so I'm talking very baseline level. If you ever feel that you are in this cycle of constant emotional eating, this crisis or the next crisis or the crisis before this, and you find yourself beginning to get out of it, please reach out for me. And I have colleagues in my sphere that deal specifically only with emotional eating. Okay, so but let's talk baseline emotional eating. And the first thing that we can do is really look at the triggers. Okay. And does that take you taking a deep breath and a step back and going like, okay, yes. But until you find out what your triggers are, we can't find what the root cause is, okay? Sometimes we crave certain things from a physiological response. Here's how the two are intertwined, right? For example, a lot of us that crave chocolate a lot may be low in magnesium. Okay, this does not mean go out and buy a magnesium supplement. Okay, but it is something that maybe we want to boost up with our whole foods in our diet. Okay, it's, again, not getting to the root cause of why you're going to the top chocolate, but it could be a craving because of that. So finding your triggers, you know, you've had a crazy day and that's your go-to, you know, you're just feeling down in the dumps and you don't know what to do, you're bored, you eat. Okay, find your triggers, write them down. Okay, I really implore, what's the word? Encourage, I'm just gonna go with that one, people to write down pen to paper. Okay, I know we're in the computer age, but there's something very cathartic when we write pen to paper. So emotional eating, find your triggers. Name 3 big ones. Okay, 3 big ones that are either happening right now for you or you know that happened with you in the past. Then we need to start getting more mindful around our eating, okay? So making eating intentional and not just automatic. Like, I feel like this, I feel like this, I feel like this. Okay, we need to break that. So how we do that is by, yes, planning our meals ahead of time, okay? And more importantly, having a strategy in mind to do when you're hungry. This doesn't mean something that's huge and verbose and this huge plan that you have to follow. No, just think about, again, this goes back to your routine and habits. Think about your next 2 to 3 days, what meals you're gonna have when. When you feel like shit and you feel like you're worrying and anxiety, what are you gonna go to? What's handy in your fridge? What's going on? Okay, think about what are you going to do when you're hungry and you're just like, my brain's screaming for energy. What am I going to do? Okay, 5-10 minutes, plan it out for yourself. Does not have to take long. It's a great behavior to start doing even when this is all said and done and we get back to work and we get back to school and we get back to summer vacations and our normal lives. Okay. And then the biggest thing I will say to you with emotional eating is start very simple and very small. Write this down. Ask yourself what 1% I can improve by week. If you want to do day by day, you can. Usually with clients, I say week by week. What's one simple thing that you can improve? Okay, to start breaking those triggers and the habits behind filling the void of what you're feeling emotionally with food. All right, and really looking at the different things that bring you joy and having those fill your void. Right? Again, guys, this is not something that you're going to listen to this video and be like, bam, tomorrow I got this. I got this. But I hope you've taken notes. Oh my gosh, I just popped my shirt. Did you guys like that? Free show. I hope you guys took notes. I can't believe that's so funny. You guys took notes and pick the 2 or 3 big actions from the 3 main things that I talked about on why you're having that constant eating, that feeling of constant eating. Habitual, physiological, emotional. Okay, pick a couple of actions that you can do today, tomorrow, and then just try to be a little bit better every single week. And let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're doing with everything. All right. Let me know if that makes sense with you guys. Let me know if that was of value, if that helped. Again, it's a journey. We're all in this together. There's no book, but I'm telling you, what a great learning, because if you can learn how to develop those behaviors, to get to a routine, to develop the habits at a time like this, I'm saying that Disney vacation next year is going to be like a walk in the park. Okay? All right, so I don't see any questions come up. I will try to check in our other group and see. In the meantime, take care of you and yours, and I will talk to you guys later. Give me a thumbs up if this was of value to you guys. Need to know.